Hello there, Rudoculus here. Welcome to another one of my reflections. I hope you've had a fantastic day so far. So, the purpose of this is to essentially follow up from one of the recent videos that I made, which was my experience of integrating my shadow. And I felt it was only right that I do a follow-up video to that to show essentially how I feel now and where I feel I'm going after this point. Now, the methods that I'd used, I explained in the previous video, were essentially grounding techniques and metta meditation, loving kindness meditation, which is a Buddhist practice, and essentially a general spiritual awakening. Now, I used 6 of those metta meditations to integrate the shadow fully, to get to a point where I, as an empath, would no longer simply absorb everything and be accessible to anyone who was willing to emotionally drain me because I had left the hypothetical torch in the window for anyone to pick up. So how do I feel now? Well, I do feel like it has worked, and it is a very strange experience because I'm now aligning with an inner truth which can potentially make me appear a little more cold and a little more distant than I might have done. Well, not that I might have done, that I definitely did prior to the shadow integration process. But that doesn't mean the work is complete, and that also doesn't mean that deep down that is truly who I am. It's just that I'm now navigating scenarios, social scenarios, work scenarios, with a little more of an edge to me, and a lot less accessibility to the inner me. Which is a strange feeling, I'll be honest, especially as someone who has willingly put myself out there as the energy sponge, and I'm now acclimatizing, which is kind of a beautiful metaphor for where we are, acclimatizing outside Bleak Falls Barrow. This character, by the way, is a new Khajiit character. His name is Umbra in Pax, which is essentially Latin for shadow integration. For shadow is integrated, or integral. And I definitely need to go and get the Umbra sword with him, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, so what else has changed? Well, my energy levels are starting to increase. I've noticed I have a much more natural ability to motivate other people, and I seem to be experiencing a dynamo effect when it comes to my energy levels. I think it's going to take a bit of a throttle period, if you will, to master these new, more balanced energy levels. It's not sporadic, nervous, anxiety energy that I have anymore. Interestingly, I do actually have an amethyst on the way, my first ever amethyst. Again, that is a video for another day. But yeah, that stone is brilliant for calming anxiety and fears and containing psychic energies, which is a large part of the integration process, is basically containing the psychic energy that was so fragmented and dispersed prior to understanding that that part of the ego needs to die for you to truly progress and for you to truly find an enlightened, awakened path where you can strive forward and put one foot in front of the other in a directional, momentum-based attitude and style. I now have the ability to stay silent. What do I mean by that? Well, prior to the shadow integration, on the lead up to this, I noticed that my ability to stay silent was actually accruing more momentum, more velocity, and it's now snowballed into this point where I have a mastery over it. Essentially, this is the ability to not be reactive to ones who would attempt to pull the levers, pull the empath levers, push your buttons, and as soon as you give them one, you know the old expression, give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Well, that is exactly the situation that I was in previously, unless I had proper protection, which again, something that can be explained on another day. But yeah, more the observer, more calm, more present, and much more attuned to those energies which circle and might be looking for an easy target. The vultures circling above, what do? Well, they wait for you to die before they fly down and pick apart the carcass. That kind of mentality, that kind of opportunistic energy is now 100% denied. There is a bouncer at the door ready to ID that particular person. And if they don't have identification, the identification being that they're what's the word? Their intentions are true and good and moral. If they don't possess that on their license, true, good, and moral, and if they actually in fact possess a different form of identification, which is to seek to drain opportunistically or to suck the life out of you for their own personal gain, could be information. A lot of times energy vampires are simply wanting to open up that verbal diarrhea effect, if you're familiar with that. And the more and more that you shut that down, the more and more that you hone this particular skill, the easier and easier it becomes to simply deflect, stay silent, remain calm, remain present, and not open up even a hint of emotion that would suggest that you're opening yourself up to the energy. This is where the transition comes into play, the Sophia effect. And I need to look fully into the Sophia effect because that's kind of the next stage of this, and I haven't done, but I kind of half know the situation. But they say the most dangerous empath is an awakened one, and I fully feel that now. What else, though? It's not all doom and gloom from the outset for those who wish to extract something from us, but they now no longer have access to do so. Well, you also become warm, motivational, and healing for those who have the right form of identification. I can now take a lot more pride in my work and in myself. I'm now able to communicate and focus effectively. I have less brain fog and more mental clarity. The hurdles that I've had to overcome to get to this point, of course, not to be sniffed at, you know, those are some serious hurdles to get here. And I fully appreciate the ghost and what part that the ghost played, the ghost of the ego. Thank you to the previous self. but I now release you from your bonds eternally. So, with this final integration process, was there any difficulty? Well, yes, there was. There was brief moments of anxiety after the final meditation, which faded in about 20 to 30 minutes as I wrestled and grasped the new shadow identity, which was now fully accepted and part of myself. Grounding speeds up the process to get rid of moments like that. Touching grass. You know, there's a reason touch grass has become such a phenomena on the online social space, and that is because we are not as we once thought. We are not separate from the earth, we are part of the earth. And touching grass basically is a funny way of saying go outside, walk in nature, connect your electrical field to the Earth's electrical field so that it can ground you. Its magnetic field, so that it can pull out those negatively charged ions, and your energy field can recalibrate. The Earth has an electrical field, as does any living creature on it. As does any item on it. And indeed, ashes to ashes, dust to dust with the old ego, though that was more ephemeral, it was more ethereal, and it can return there. I'm now able to take up more space, allowing my life force to radiate, which I've learned is going to be triggering for some people. But I'm also learning that that's okay. I'm gonna have to learn how to manage comments here, because I'm already got a silly one the other day, which I transmuted the energy on the other day, and that's what I plan to do going forward. If I do get any negativity on this channel, I will simply be transmuting that negativity into positivity, or just transmuting it generally and sending it back to the earth. You know, this is kind of advice for myself, but I suppose this is also something people struggle with a lot, so it's poignant that I bring this up, really. But that if you're getting hate online for doing something that you're passionate about, keep doing it, because that means you're going in the right direction. That means that you're triggering those souls that need to be awakened, is what I'm learning. And also, you can easily transmute it if you don't want that in your energy field. You know, you can easily block, move on, delete comments. You know, keep it moving. Rather than engage with it, this is what I'm learning. The worst thing that you can do when somebody extends such a burning olive branch, the worst thing you can do is put your hand out and touch that thing, because it's on fire. The best thing that you can do is ignore it and move on, because what happens to fire when it's starved of oxygen? It goes out. So, in terms of that, transmutation is a huge part of this whole process, so it's nice that I can come to a point where I can express myself generally about that process. But what else? Well, further truths are awakened and aligned when you integrate the shadow. You might realize that you're part of a karmic wheel or cycle. Mine in particular was designed to keep the energy plane small. But now it's time to close that cycle, and move into a space where I can grow into a healthy, non-fear-based way of living. Karmic cycles can be ancient, and they can be closed off and potentially you can be the one to close them. You can be the end of the line that says, no, I choose a different path. I choose to do the inner work and to be able to get to a point where I can express my light. And that in itself is very healing all the way back through the lineage. So once moving into that space, that non-fear-based, healthy, happy, whole, warming space, you might start to realize synchronicities. You might start to see the synchronicities of life. And the yellow butterfly is a symbol of this. Or yellow anything. Could be a canary, could be a butterfly, could be any of these creatures. Luminous yellow signify optimism, new beginnings, warmth, and presence. And if you notice those at this point, you know you've arrived. It's more than okay to be all of you. There's no need to dim your light because of ridicule or the fear of being ostracized. We are ascending past those low frequency energies and rising like the sun. Seeing the beauty in small things is another side effect that I've experienced. A tree dancing in the wind, ripples in the water. Taking a moment to slow down and breathe naturally, slowly. And understanding that breath is everything, life force, in and out. The karmic wheel that turns, the rise and fall of the belly. And life moves in ebbs and flows. We are building up to something, but then when we have that thing and we get to that peak, what must happen? It must come down. We must be able to prepare ourselves for the downward cycle. The release outwards. And Master Shun Hung Yi has been a huge part of my education recently. I implore you to go and check out some of his stuff, because he is really fantastic. And Buddhism in general has really helped in terms of that. So, you know, there's plenty of resources out there for those who might be interested. But yeah, the Shaolin Master Shung Hun Yi, I've been doing a lot of listening to his words, and that's one of the things where I got that in and out from. But it's in everything. It's in Zen teachings, and the wings that I have chosen are that of the Earth Angel, of course. Green and gold tipped. And we are an unarmed monk build. But yes, this is my message. And I hope that you've enjoyed listening to this. That's really about it for this one. I was potentially planning to go and punch the droggers and stuff, but I don't know if I'll do that as part of another video. I'm just enjoying the chatting aspect really as well, and being able to verbalize, have some more deeper, more meaningful talks where I can express certain ideas, philosophies, and methods which might be able to help people. But wherever you are on your path, I hope you're okay. I wish you well. If you are on a path of spiritual enlightenment and awakening, also I wish you well, and I wish you good luck with that. There's also physical, you know, physical's a huge part of it. Coming into your physical body, moving your physical body, Do some exercise. Lift some weights. Punch a heavy bag, whatever it might be. Get it done. And yeah, I also wanted to say thank you to the new subscribers as well, because I've had a few of those from these videos that I've been putting out. So yeah, if you're new here, hello and welcome. I'm Rudoculus. Feel free to comment if you have something to say about any of the topics that I talk about. And my prayer bowl is somewhere. I was gonna. It's usually on hand for me to use it to sign out with. Let me see if I can quickly grab it. Here we go. I got it. So yes. Not the most orthodox way to end the video, but I appreciate you, and this is the final stage, and a wonderful, happy time for myself for the integration. But like I say, the work has not finished. I will still be doing method meditations, but once every month now, moving forward. This is another sort of aspect and point I wanted to make, is that the work doesn't stop because you come to a certain phase. It only deepens your understanding. Thank you so much for watching. If you have, you have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace be with you. Namaste.